Today, Rockstar breaks the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Grand Theft Auto 6. I can't believe we can unironically say those words while acknowledging that there's material about it that exists, as the brand new trailer, or the reveal trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 has dropped a little earlier than intended because somebody...
Because I will, fun fact about this. This guy looks great, but also not important. Allegedly, the person who did leak the video is fired, allegedly. So who can say, because it does sound like a big scam to say, oh, hey, guess what? We're releasing on this day. No, I'm gonna go against company policy. But from what we saw on our own, on my channel with with Ryan, we had good and concerning questions about GTA 6.
Somebody actually leaked the trailer, and so Rockstar was just like, screw it, let's just release it. Now it's supposed to go up tomorrow at 9 Pacific, but it's up right now, as you can see right here. And I want you to witness this. It's been 3 hours since the trailer came out, and it's already at 25 million views.
It was
and
growing.
People who witnessed the trailer go up live basically saw this.
It was kind of fun. During mid recording with Ryan, it trended social media so much, even on the X platform. There was a trending growing platform of the name of the character to the Bonnie and Clyde motif, and everything related to Florida. Florida Man got bumped up because of GTA 6. Bonnie and Clyde was bumped up because of GTA 6 and everything around it. It was a phenomenon, but also someone got allegedly fired for this. So, by all means, was your job worth being lost by releasing this? Sure, who can say? Because I don't make your decisions.
Trailer see 1.5 million likes in 15 minutes or something. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a momentous occasion in not just gaming, but in just media in general, because Grand Theft Auto is one of those things that just transcends gaming. Everyone kind of knows Grand Theft Auto, and people have been holding their breath for this one for a million years, and it is finally here. And the people are going crazy. Of course, it's the #1 thing that's trending on Twitter right now. And generally, the impressions surrounding this trailer have been really positive because I've seen it, and holy crap, it looks good. I actually want to play this trailer and react to it with you guys. I am going to turn down the audio because it is very much copyrighted music. But really, the thing that strikes me most about what I saw in this trailer is how visually stunning it is. I mean, there are moments where I swear it is just somebody took a camera and filmed real people. The physics, the hair physics.
Yeah, every physics, from the jiggling to the crazy lady to the strip, it looks so realistic. Thank you, Unreal Engine 5, for being
particularly I want to highlight in this trailer, among other things. I mean, if there's one thing that Rockstar has continuously done, it's push the boundaries of what you can achieve in a generation of consoles with its visual fidelity, and now with modern day technology, with current generation console power to take advantage of. Man, it is insane that a huge open world game can look like this. So let's check this out for you guys. The audio, the lighting, and the density of the city is very...
Yeah, because it does look like the lighting and the imaging has been pretty perfect during the trailer alone.
Very apparent. Very, I mean, Jesus Christ, look at this lighting. I mean, this is RTX really on and everything. The water looks absolutely beautiful. The effects, the way it ripples, the color, the overall aesthetic of this game is already very much in line with Vice City, but just, I mean, this is what Vice City looked to us back in the day when we played on PlayStation 2 or whatever, and now we get to see it how we imagined in our heads, looking hyper realistic, just really crazy. The visual fidelity going on here. I mean, all kinds of activities you got. I mean, the density of the...
And one of my big concerns that I brought up with Ryan was the concern about the relevancy, because when we keep going in the trailer, we notice the clubs, the sexualization. People are gonna have conversation about the sexualization. People are gonna talk about the social media angle. I think. Hold on, if he gets into it, the brandings, the women, and the social media angle over here, it is an issue because it's gonna bring up a lot of undead bodies, to say the least. There's a big issue with that as it was, because is it going to be a situation to where the Saint Row had the big issue of oh, we're college students, we don't have money for college, what do? Rob a bank. And the escalation of choices is what's concerning when we're coming into the idea of like, hey, what if you make your profit by robbing people and social media posting, and you're getting more notorious and more famous the more things you're posting. But who knows, right?
The water of this game is already played on like PlayStation 2 or whatever, and now we get to like see it how we imagined in our heads, looking hyper realistic, just really crazy. The visual fidelity going on here. I mean, all kinds of activities. You got, I mean, the density of the crowds and how, I mean, everyone's engaged in some kind of activity. Dense. The city just feels alive. There's helicopters and aerial vehicles in the background. We got water vehicles and everything. Oh my God. Of course, you know, strip clubs are going to be a thing. And
it'll be a huge talking point because this is, GTA is going to be a game that's even more hard to access, and it's going to be a big problem with families because if kids in middle school and high school can get access to prime energy, they're going to have access and easily attainable games like GTA 6 where it's hypersexualized. Hypersexualization was an issue before. It is at its, the sexualization is at its best, but also worst with GTA 5 coming out, 6 coming out.
Lots of twerking in this trailer. That's something that you will notice throughout. Now, going a little further, we can see what character models look like up close.
The character models look pretty, like, pretty
Lots
realistic.
of views of the city itself. I mean, the level of detail here is insane. You know, you see a game like Cyberpunk 2077 that just so impresses visually, and that is still among the best looking games right now, especially when you turn on all the effects and RTX and you really crank the settings up. You think to yourself, how can visuals get that much better? And you look at something like Grand Theft Auto 6, and I mean, I can already tell it is like a step above, and that is no insult to Cyberpunk 2077 because that game set the bar so high, especially after all the patches rolled out. And to see a game that is so...
But I will say, Cyberpunk doesn't deserve its Game Awards, but who can say? You know, it's not an ongoing game. It's hard to imagine it being an ongoing game if it's fixing bugs it shouldn't have had on release, but who knows?
Clearly even like ahead because it was strictly designed for, you know, next gen or what's now current generation consoles, and they really fully leveraged that technology, and the results really show. And just, I mean, how much more time they had to actually make this game, and as a result, all the details that they scrutinized to really bring it to life, the hair physics here is on a whole other level. Look at the way
is fantastic.
This, I mean, it still has a slight kind of noodly effect, but generally, I think this is the best physics effects I've ever seen on hair. And it's one of those subtle things that makes such a huge difference in selling the realism of a scene. More often than not, just how stiff hair looks because just people haven't figured out the physics for it yet, or it's difficult to implement. Just like it loses the illusion of realism just enough. It's one of those small details that makes a significant enough difference where it really breathes life to the character models. Vice City, of course. Social media being a big part.
Florida, man, social medias are a huge issue, and it's really prevalent here, but it's good. It's
part of modern day culture, and Grand Theft Auto being such a contemporary series that...
If I remember correctly, the way they released Grand Theft Auto 5 alone was supposed to represent a time, it representing society and game as it was. For social media to be prevalent in Grand Theft Auto 6, it's a huge thing. It's a huge representation of current media where social media is king, sexualization is king, and grabbing as much attention as possible is king. So they are going to have to implement that kind of gaming style coming into the new genre of Grand Theft Auto. They have to make it very relatable and extreme because people look for extremes on social media. So why not explode it in a game setting where it's safe, but also almost attainable in real life?
Tackles just kind of what's going on in society right now. You expect this to be a major aspect of the game. Various content creators and whatnot who you'll be able to witness throughout the course of the game.
It's a lot of concern.
Again, the hair physics here. It's a small thing, but the way it's waving around, it makes it look like this was just filmed. And then somebody added some like color grading to it. It's those little like animation things that like sells your brain on this being something legitimate. Oh my God! I mean, just
it is beautiful, but
it's crazy,
it's crazy.
how far we've gotten.
Crazy.
from a graphics fidelity standpoint. And this is the kind of graphics you might expect from a game that's like very contained and linear, but this is how apparently the game is going to look like when you're just roaming around the open world. And do understand that this right here is in-engine footage. It's not gameplay per se, in the sense that they're not showing us somebody, you know, playing the game with a controller. They are showing cinematic shots, but all this stuff was filmed in-engine, and this is probably...
And like that is like the most realistic it gets with in-engine alone. Can you, and with current technologies like Resident Evil engine, for example, they are learning how to incorporate cutscene character models into gameplay models and back and forth. So can you just imagine the ability for this engine to emulate in real life characters and have a transition between cutscenes and gameplay smoothly? They've been working on that technology for a long time, and they're at a point to where it's almost possible to do with any game currently out there, versus cutscene, black screen, and then immediately into gameplay, where it's gonna be so seamless now. Like that, because of the current engines, the ability to make gameplay transition in and out of cutscenes is very plausible, to where even your character model may play like that as a like in gameplay.
About the kind of visual fidelity we can expect from the game. Maybe a few downgrades here and there. The game is far away enough where there might be some adjustments, but this is what they're aiming for. And I mean, if they can achieve this, if it's close enough to this, holy mother of God. It's very apparent just the level of motion capture that went on when they created this game. It feels like everything is motion captured. So much of what sells the immersion, I think, of a game.
From how they move alone, it feels like motion capture for a proper movie. Like, again, like the technology of to mocap characters in cutscenes to then copy and paste that into gameplay is becoming more accessible. Like this trailer, for as much damage as it's done, is very groundbreaking in technology because of what it can actually do going forward.
And like the interaction between people is animation. More so than even visual fidelity, it's the way people move that makes you believe that these are real people. But I mean, but then you look at like the lighting and the, I mean, just they cranked up all the settings to max here. And it is quite something to look at. Just how much the visuals have advanced. This little shot right here, the way this ponytail right here just bounces in such a subtle yet real way, and it doesn't have like, you know, Witcher 3 Hairworks on noodly effects, and it's that one little thing that gives this whole thing such a cinematically realistic look, combined with the lighting going on back here, and just I mean the shadows and everything. It's again, like there's a part of my brain that thinks this was just filmed. You know what I mean? Jesus. And it seems as though these two characters, I mean, I believe what I've heard is that this is kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of a situation. They seem to be lovers. Yeah, I mean, the dynamic between these two characters is clearly going to be central to this plot. And I'm very curious to see. I mean, if there's one thing that Grand Theft Auto has always nailed, it's like it's the main campaign and making all these characters not only compelling, but feel like they could actually exist out there. Just the way dialogue is written is always...
And already when Ryan and I dissected the trailer, there's a big situation where what if the guy, because we're in a situation where the trailer opens up to where the girl is in prison talking to a counselor, and it's going to be a situation to where, okay, we have this cutscene in the beginning of the game, and you show her flashbacking to her time before the arrest, and the idea is, what if during this flashback you set up how your business is going to be after release, to where, hey, in Persona 5 style, depending on your progression from the beginning of your story to the point of arrest, will detail and hint at, like, it'll evolve the story. Case in point, in Persona 5, if you don't interact and evolve your social links, you'll never get small cutscenes of the prosecutor asking questions about how were you able to do this. And the reality is if you properly take care of it in the flashbacks, you realize, hey, you became a really skilled thief based because of your interaction with your community and your social links. It's a cause and effect. You're showing the cause of your infamy or your skills based on what you've done as a civilian prior to the arrest. So if you play GTA 6 in that kind of fashion, to where you don't play her when she's getting when she's being in the counselor's room, you play her months or like almost a year prior to the arrest, and then you go to town from there. That's how you play the game. That's how you make the story.
Always so good and so grounded, while all of that is juxtaposed by the ridiculousness of the satirical nature of Grand Theft Auto and all the crazy, insane shit you'll see in this game and throughout the series. But like this shot right here as well, man. Oh, God. This is just pure eye candy, what we're witnessing here. And there it is. Grand Theft Auto coming in 2025. It's the end of 2023 right now, so there's at least an extra year's worth of development, more than a year's worth.
It gives us a lot of time to like develop the game, much like even for Monster Hunter Wilds, you get a year of like trailers, year of improvements and trials and errors, to where if it was going to be released 2024, it'd be a train wreck. But please delay the game for as much time as it takes to give you what the engine can truly provide. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem, much like, Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky.
Of development, which is why I'm like, I'm very sure it's in-engine, like it's easy to tell that it's in-engine and not like a pre-rendered thing. There's still enough time left between now and release. There's still a lot of development to be done with this game that it's possible that elements of its aesthetic will change. But generally, when we were shown GTA 5's trailer, its reveal trailer, and we were shown a similar kind of cinematically shot trailer, it was all in-engine, and the final game looked close enough to that initial teaser trailer. Same with like GTA 4. So honestly, like this is, I don't think it's going to be too far off here. And I mean, look at this shot.
It's beautiful.
You could freeze at any point in this trailer.
Everything
and it'll
looks so realistic in any frame. He's absolutely right. Yang Yi is like absolutely right. In any frame, it looks very almost realistic, but you can still tell that it's a video game. But it is so close to the mark, and the engine is doing such a good job just pulling assets to make it, the shadings and the lighting, very realistic.
Somehow visually impress. I mean, look at this shot here. God, it is crazy that we'll just get to roam around in this world. And obviously, it's too early to tell how this game will pan out, but, say what you want about Rockstar and Take-Two, but when it comes to Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption and those main campaigns, I mean, they always kind of slay. I only hope that this campaign is supported beyond just the initial release. Hopefully we'll see expansions, which is something that was abandoned with GTA 5 because GTA Online became the priority. And do keep in mind, this is just Grand Theft Auto 6, the main campaign. No doubt they have huge plans for the next iteration of Grand Theft Auto Online. Given how much money GTA Online for GTA 5 made, that is going to be their next big moneymaker for the next, 2-3 generations of consoles. Who knows how long they'll milk GTA 6, but it does look freaking amazing based on what little we've been shown here. And the internet is kind of, blown away, I think. Generally, I mean, what are we looking at here? 4.6 million likes, 137,000 dislikes is kind of the ratio, which is a pretty positive ratio, given the scale at which this trailer is being watched. The whole world is paying attention right now. And I can't help but be impressed at, like, how magical technology has become to the point where we can have interactive experiences that can look like this. Like, magic might not exist in our world, but technology might as well be magic at this point when it can produce results like
Thor said in Marvel, when you go between worlds, sometimes magic and science are like two sides of the coin, are the same thing.
I mean, man, utter insanity if this is genuinely representative of what we can expect in the final game. This is gonna sell so insanely.
It'll probably be breaking. It's probably going to be the most pre-order game possible, and it'll probably push out the most amount of units as possibly could. It's going to be it's going to include a lot of game crashes. It's probably going to include a lot of issues on day one, even day zero. And I feel like depending on like what your pre-order is, you get 3 days in advance of game time. But it really depends because again, like with this kind of game, with this kind of attention, it will cause a lot of problems and it will bring up so many advances in technology like you don't even understand because I can already assume that it's going to be releasing with a lot of content. Like already day one, it'll servers are going to be down. You're going to be forced to play it on offline mode, but the moment servers can accommodate the amount of traffic, it will blow up. It'll be the number one spot on Twitch and YouTube live stream for a long time within the first month of it being released because of how much of a social impact GTA as a franchise has. Saints Row does the same thing as Grand Theft Auto, but it makes it in the extreme and unfoundable. This is the most realistic game that is made possible, and yeah, it's gonna be a scary launch. But what do you guys think? One of the let's see, one of the what kind of comments? The trailer hasn't even been out for 10 hours, and it has already had more likes than Endgame. That's interesting. Witnessing this much excitement for something you contributed to create must be fulfilling for a Rockstar employee. I aspire to get this much enthusiasm, but someone must have been fired for like the early release. It's a leak. You don't keep your job for leaking information. I couldn't put my finger on it at first, but then I realized the characters we're seeing from the phone camera, social media perspective, are aware that they're on camera, and they're acting like it. Rockstar nailed the narcissistic body language of someone doing it for the Vine. Yeah, there's a lot of realism, and there's gonna be huge gameplay mechanics with the social media alone, let alone the concept of you stealing every car you want, to getting every strip club as you want, heisting everything that is physically possible will be made possible, and social media posting about your robberies or your like exploits will skyrocket gameplay through the roof. But yeah, that's the trailer. That's the video from Young Yi. Let me know what you think.